Okay. Hi, this is Annie, Caroline, and Julia. Welcome to Catholic Tours. Today we'll be talking about the Catholic Reformation, also known as the Counter-Reformation.
Before we get into the Reformation, let's discuss the events leading up to this Reformation.
Let's go to Kim to help us understand what was going on around this period.
Hey guys, Kim here. So, for one to understand the Catholic and Counter-Reformation, they also have to understand what was going on around the time. So, the church didn't really have a strong authority over people because in the 1500s, around this time, popes and officials began to break laws themselves and they weren't providing a good example. So, one popular law they broke was simony. And if you guys remember, simony was the buying and selling of something spiritual, such as indulgences. And we all know the problem with indulgences and how they themselves were a crime because you cannot buy away your sins because only God will forgive you. So that's what the time period was like.
And now here's Julia to help us get into more information about the Reformation contributors.
Some Reformation contributors who criticized the church were Martin Luther and John Calvin. Luther wanted to reform the church and started by writing the 95 Theses that hung on the church door. He was also known for the Diet of Worms, which was when he had been called to Worms, Germany to appear before the Assembly of Holy Roman Empire and answer charges of heresy. Finally, he objected to the selling of indulgences.
On the other hand, John Calvin created his own theocracy, separate from the church. He also translated Bibles against the church as well.
The Protestant Reformation played a very big role in the Counter-Reformation. The Protestant Reformation affected the Counter-Reformation hugely with waves of iconism, such as destroying artwork associated with the church, and the objects and images were portrayed as having power themselves, instead of just a way to reach out to the common people. Also, they wanted to keep Catholics from converting to Protestantism.
During the Reformation, Paul III, who was born in 1334 and died in 1549, convened the Council of Trent, which appointed cardinals to look into the need for institutional reform, uncovering the appointment of corrupt and worldly bishops and priests, traffic in indulgences, and other financial abuses.
And now, back to Kim again to talk more about the Council of Trent.
Okay, so we all know that Pope Paul III convened the Council of Trent, and this was the church's way of finally seeking reform. Well, this sense of reform is the main cause of the Counter-Reformation, and this council basically wanted to uphold all the structure from the church, its sacramental systems, belief, doctrine, all of the important things. And basically it just wanted to, neglect anything with Protestants. It wanted to reject all their beliefs and stop the Catholics from converting to the Protestant faith. But it really failed to reunite the church. And after this, it was nearly impossible to reconcile with the Protestants since we were just criticizing their faith.
During the Council of Trent, Ignatius Loyola and the Jesuits tried to spread the Catholic faith.
Ignatius Loyola was a Spanish reformer who wanted to create a new religious order. The Jesuits' original purpose was to reach and convert the masses of people who had strayed from the church and to serve God through loyalty to the church.
Loyola felt that the Reformation was the result of ignorance and corruption on the part of the Catholic clergy.
Now let's talk about some effects of the Catholic Reformation. The Reformation created a loss of religious unity in Western Europe. There were many political divisions, but some states remained Catholic while others remained Protestant.
For more than 100 years after the Reformation, wars sparked by religion enraged in Europe. In the 1500s, religious civil wars occurred in Germany, France, and England. The Reformation brought even more persecution to Jews. Protestants and Catholics forced them to leave their homes, live in separate neighborhoods, and even murder them.
We know the Counter-Reformation had many negative effects, like the religious wars and persecution. One final negative effect is that some religious fanatics actually went to the point to accuse innocent women of being witches. Thousands were put to death for this reason, and they were all innocent and didn't deserve to die. Some positive effects, however, where the church reestablished their morals and their doctrine. They confirmed transubstantiation, which means the Eucharist is transformed from the bread and wine to the body and blood. They stated that the Deuterocanonical books are indeed part of the Old Testament. After Martin Luther said there was only 2 sacraments, the church, strengthened their belief that there are actually 7. And one more example is that they really pushed for a well-educated clergy.
To summarize this documentary, basically the Protestant Reformation was one of the biggest factors that contributed to the Catholic Reformation. Also, the Council of Trent, along with many reformers such as John Calvin and Martin Luther. We hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching.